Yo, what's going on YouTube? We are back and back. I was thinking to myself how I grew up around, probably 100,000 snakes growing up. Throughout my dad getting snakes, selling snakes, breeding snakes, like all the way through my adulthood. I was definitely around 100,000 snakes. Like how bizarre, right?
Yeah.
So I came up with a few questions that I think that the people would ask. I think it'll give a pretty wide spectrum of, maybe a little bit of insight into what it was like.
Yeah, they're good questions. They're questions I don't even know if I know like your answers to them, so I'm kind of interested to hear them.
All right, so let's get started.
Okay. Question number 1. How did your family end up living around so many snakes?
Okay, so it started with my dad. Pretty much his first memory, 2 years old, it was at the Belle Isle Zoo. That's downtown Detroit. They have a nice little island, pretty much, Belle Isle, and they used to have a zoo down there. And he said his first memory ever was him looking at the ball python inside of that zoo. So it started with him. Ever since that moment, he was infatuated. Garter snakes, he would like raise them up and then let them go. His mom would make him let them go, like at the end of summer or whatever, because he'd keep them in the garage. And then he started a business. He was a teenager, started a business, met my mom. They started it in my grandma's basement.
I've
And
heard this.
yeah. And so it was a business that my dad started, and BHB Enterprise, that's his initials.
But so how did you wind up living with all of them?
So uh
Did they just
well,
transport from your nanny's basement to
to our basement
Yeah.
at first, yeah. So
Right.
growing up, but the house that you went to, that basement of that house used to be full of snakes.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Like BHB.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But they had BHB. That was like overflow.
Oh my God.
In our basement it used to just be snakes.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And then just we'll get more in depth, I'm sure. But to cap it off, this question, you can ask it again just to make sure I get it all. But they inevitably they inevitably grew it to the second largest collection in the entire world.
What was your very first memory involving a snake?
My first memory involving a snake was one of their first buildings. I remember it was right by a lake, like one of our big lakes, like Lake St. Clair, I think.
Oh, okay.
And so during the like summertime or springtime or whatever, all the fish flies would literally gather the entire building, all over the cars, and just so the entire wall was just bugs, like on the
Okay.
outside. So it was that building, pretty small place at this time. It grew a lot as I grew up.
Snake.
I know. I'm just giving a little background. So I was young,
Yeah.
like so young, like playpen young. And I remember crawling up, and I used to open
You remember
drawers.
crawling?
Yeah.
That's so
And
weird.
opening drawers and sticking my hands in there, and I would get bit by the sand boas. But I don't know why. I just would like
I'm just
do
picturing
it.
Bubba doing
Yeah. And then I also remember sitting in that carpeted area, like in, like when you walk in, there was like an office or something, and then employees would walk through there. And I remember one guy, I know his name, I won't say it, but he always used to drink chocolate milk and egg salad sandwiches, and he smelled like Marlboro cigarettes.
not the Marlboro.
He did.
But yeah,
And
no,
so
saying
anytime,
it.
I know I mispronounced
Can't
that
say
word.
it, Marlboro.
Marlboro.
That's good.
Yeah. Cigarettes. And anytime I smell that cigarette, I think of chocolate milk and egg salad sandwiches.
Okay. So, with that first experience with the snake, was it terrifying or normal to you?
Well, since I grew up, since the business was already well started, my dad started his business when he was about 17, and he didn't have me till about 30.
Yeah.
So, the business is already nearly 15 years, and so it was normal because, that's before I was even born. Like I was born into it, so it wasn't.
It was just
Yeah, it was normal.
normal. Okay. Was there ever or were there ever any accidents or dangerous encounters?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have seen the vlogs. I mean, whether it's getting like choked out by anacondas, they
Well,
don't
what
do it
about
on
like
purpose,
growing
but
up? Because that's more like once they had the rep. You were.
that still counts. Snake strikes, getting struck at from butterscotch, literally falling
know.
out. I fell out of the top cage of butterscotch, and Big J had to catch me because I was in there trying to get her, and she struck, and I basically like matrixed it, but instead of being cool, I fell out of it.
Yeah,
And
that was the better option than
Yeah.
getting bit in the face.
Yeah, and he hurt his back because he caught me with one arm while having the camera.
Oh my god. Did he catch it?
He caught me, yeah,
No, no. Did he catch the clip?
as best as he could.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But thinking
Scotch is
about
crazy.
growing up, I mean, I got bit by snakes a lot.
But any like accident, like not just like a snake bite. Like were there anything sticking out?
Nothing really sticking out besides just normal ball python, samboa snake bites, colubrids, snake bites.
Okay. Did you have a favorite snake, or at least a favorite? Did you have a favorite snake?
So I had a snake called Snaky.
Yeah, I know this.
Yeah, it was a corn snake, just a normal corn snake.
It's a really
I don't
clever
know.
name.
Yeah.
Chelsea's kids, they do like a Sam the Snake, or like
Yeah.
Peter the Possum, I think is one. I don't know.
Alliteration. They
Yeah.
like alliteration. Yeah.
But Snaky's cute.
Yeah, Snaky. I also remember a snake that I thought was very cool. It didn't prove out to be genetic, but it was called the Viper ball. It was just called the Viper. And it was a ball python, but a morph
Oh.
of the ball python. And it was similar to a normal, but like it had a very interesting pattern that I remember. But my dad tried to breed it. It just didn't pass on. It just
Yeah.
didn't prove out the genetics. But that one was cool too.
Yeah.
Next question.
Okay. What kind of daily chores or responsibilities did you have with the snakes?
Yeah, so I wanted to parlay this favorite snake into this one,
Okay.
but I didn't because I knew this one was coming up. So I obviously grew up around tens of thousands of snakes. You're a kid. I got taught work ethic because I had to work from when I was young. I remember I used to think I was getting a crazy good deal because my dad would be like, I'll pay you $5 if you work today. And I'd be like, $5? Yeah. So I probably did a pretty bad job because I was so young.
Breaking child labor laws.
I'm a son. It's not like he's hiring other
I'm
5-year-olds.
kidding.
But so lots of cleaning. There used to be. I remember one summer I did the roller racks. So there was so many baby ball pythons born. Literally, I'm talking at least 1,000, if not more. And it used to fill up. My parents owned a warehouse. A warehouse. Like literally, like probably
Like a Target?
like half of a Target. Like literally like a half of a Target.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And the first section of it was all ball pythons. It was separated ball pythons, colubrids, and then like some other like baby stuff. But anyways, and so I would go. I'd have to take them off the racks, go one by one because they were in separate containers, and clean the poop and make sure everything was watered and all that. So doing
For
that.
$5?
That I was a little older
Oh,
then.
okay. I was,
And
what
I
are you
got
getting, like half a penny? It's not even quarter of a penny a snake.
no. This was when I was older. But that's how I found Snaky. Was I was cleaning the colubrids
Oh.
and I saw her. She was a mama, and I just fell in love.
What stood out about Snaky?
She loved me.
Okay.
You know, it was just one of those
What
things.
happened to Snaky?
She died of old age.
Oh,
She lived a full life.
yeah.
Long life.
How long did you have her?
Years. She lived in the compound.
Right.
I never took her home.
Oh, okay. But it was just
but
you
she
would go
lived-
there and that was your
Yeah.
little
no,
snake.
Yep. She lived a long life.
So were your friends allowed to visit your home? And if they were, what were their reactions?
Yeah. No, so it was really cool. Obviously owning snakes, honestly, probably even just owning one snake, people would be like, "Oh wow, that's unique." But excuse me.
Wait, can I pause? Because it is. This is normal for you. I have a very vivid memory of my neighbor across the street. He just had a snake, probably a ball python. He would feed it live.
That's normal.
I know, I didn't love, but like we would go over there as kids and be like, "Whoa!" And then he'd put the little whatever in the
Oh, you
mouse.
watched it, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why I don't like it now. But
Yeah.
yeah, and it was like so crazy to me, where you would probably walk in there and be like, cool.
Yeah, probably a little bored.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
Oh, you only have one?
Right. Not 1,000.
Um, but honestly, everybody at school, all my friends, they thought it was the coolest thing ever. The coolest thing. My dad used to go to our schools and do presentations.
That's cool.
Yeah, so like career day or whatever. My dad would show up with snakes, or uh, my school even just hired them, or I think they did it for free, but like they
Oh.
brought it in as like an in-house kind of experience thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
then
hands-on for the kids or just
Yeah.
showing? Yeah. That's
yeah,
cool.
and then yeah, all my friends loved coming to the little warehouse and walking around. I mean, it's just crazy. Yeah, so it was a hit.
The warehouse though, but like what about at home?
Um, Once I started to get to that age, we didn't have snakes at home anymore. Like I'm talking, this is like uh, third grade to high school.
Is when it was the warehouse,
Yeah.
and then prior to that it was at home.
No, we had
Oh, it was at the warehouse
there was
and at home.
yeah, they stopped having the snakes at home probably around when I was in third grade.
Oh,
We just
okay.
didn't need it because they got the big building.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Did living with snakes shape your personality or worldview in a unique way?
I honestly don't know.
Were there any rules you had to follow growing up that other kids didn't,
Well,
like relating to snakes?
yeah. I think, don't open up. Yeah, well, that was one. Don't open up like the big ones because there were big snakes there, and it's dangerous for a full-grown adult
Right.
to open up like a big snake.
Yeah.
And I'm a kid, and obviously, there's times where you are running around alone. I mean, your parents can't watch you all the time, and so that was definitely a rule.
Did you ever like get a little brave, or did you
I
just
opened
know?
the little ones a lot.
But we're talking,
The big ones, they're scary.
yeah.
I don't think I ever opened up the big ones by myself until I started to get older.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next question is, how do you feel about snakes now?
Yeah. I mean, I really like snakes. I think they're super cool. I know they make great pets. But obviously I've taken my own direction in life now, and that's just a step that I wanted to take and wanted to take for a while. It has nothing to do with hatred for snakes or not thinking they're cool or anything like that. It's just not meant for me to work in that field. I think they're super cool. I see the value, and if I was like my dad and like had that,
It's a unique passion that he had.
yeah, it's very strong. I mean, like maybe a more understandable comparison would be like a Michelangelo or a Beethoven, and then like their son. Like, nope. I mean, I'm just gonna speak for myself. I don't know who their son is, and like they probably did not have the same enthusiasm for the field that they're known for as their father.
Yeah, I know. It's always so silly that people like I guess that's common though. Like in not even just with you, but like family businesses, like people always like expect the son or the next to like have the
Yeah.
same.
I think it would be easier if my dad wasn't so extraordinary. Like he was a teacher, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he had the passion to teach about reptiles. And so, I mean, it's not a simple task and it can't be faked.
Right.
You can you can grind your way through, you know, making a pizza recipe
Yeah.
that nobody, you know,
Yeah. You can't fake enthusiasm for
yeah, you can until you can't.
until you've drained the life out of yourself.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put you out.
Yeah. Okay. This is the last one.
Okay.
All right, so last question. What's one thing people totally misunderstand about snakes or about growing up around them?
Let's say that they're scary or that they're,
Then this bottom part says something only you could really know.
yeah.
So,
I would say that they're scary, that they're killers. You know, I'll just start there. I mean, like, they're misunderstood in the sense that, okay, yeah, every once in a blue moon, you see in the news that, like, a reticulated python ate, like, a very small uh, Indonesian woman that was grabbing water. And, like, for some reason that happens, like, quite a bit.
yeah, but like you're saying, once in a blue moon versus how many people are handling snakes daily and they're
Yeah.
fine. Like,
But that's, you know,
it's
that,
also just about knowing the snake and how to handle it.
yeah.
How does
But,
that
like,
happen? Okay.
honestly,
Like, does it?
you
It doesn't
know,
just strike them. Like, I just they
s-
or are they in the trees? Like, I just don't understand.
yeah, I mean, retics are in the trees,
I just like
you
it's
know,
usually old people. I think.
and there's very small people usually.
Yeah, and I feel like
Probably
it's
a
the
little
older
older.
people. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't really.
Snakes are strong. I mean, like, but if we're talking about, you know, you're at the pet shop, you know, you're in first world country civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have anything to worry about. You're gonna, you know, you get bit,
Yeah.
but it's not gonna kill you. Snakes. Oh, another one is snakes don't size people up. Like, there's like this. There's a wives' tale out there that, you know, oh, my uncle got sized up by a
What does that
snake.
mean? Like,
Like if a snake is like going like crawling around you, like sniffing you, like with their tongue, like flicking around.
yeah.
It's like, oh, he's sizing you up to like eat
Oh.
you. It's like they don't do that
Yeah.
for like humans. Like it
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Another one is that they'll only grow to the size of the tank you put them in.
Mm.
People think that if you put like a reticulated python, even an alligator, like they'll be like, oh, if you just keep it in this tank, then it will not outgrow it.
It's interesting. Aren't fish like that? Or is that also a myth?
I think that's probably also a myth.
Oh, okay.
I'm not in
I
the
always
fish
thought that
realm, but
about fish.
if you put a great white shark in a goldfish tank, it's not
Like what? Okay, so what's one thing people might misunderstand about growing up around snakes?
Is that what it says?
Well, no, you did like the first part, but then there's a second part of like what could somebody like there's a lot of people who watch you and who watched your dad and probably have preconceived ideas or think certain things. So it's like, what's one thing that I don't know how to ask that. I think it could be a
don't
cool
know.
question. I just don't really know how to ask it properly.
Yeah, I'll just say, you know, it was a lot of fun. Had a lot of like really uh, cool, unique memories. You know, like whether it's going to reptile conventions and all the crazy personalities that are involved there, all the cool animals that you get to see regularly, the animal experiences that I've got to, you know, go on. I mean, it's very exclusive. There's,
Hmm.
you know, not many people have been able to do the things that I've been able to do thanks to, you know,
Your dad.
my dad and all the
Even,
hard work and
even the brief little bit, before your dad was sick, like I got to do crazy stuff that I never like in just this like year time span.
yeah, what do you mean a year? It was like 3 months, 2 months. You know what I mean? I
Oh
meant
yeah, it was like actually like 6 months.
not even.
August to like April.
We didn't do anything.
Yeah, the giraffes.
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff.
Okay, never mind. I was
So
thinking.
like August to April.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
6
I did
months.
crazy like stuff I never.
I know, and we would have done crazier stuff, and it breaks my heart every day.
Yeah. Sad.
But yeah, it's really sad. One thing about my dad that people probably don't really understand is how smart he was. He was very intelligent, and he produced a lot of world's first ball pythons and other snakes, other colubrids, and so on. But he was very well known in the ball python world. And that takes a lot of intelligence because you're dealing with genetics, right? And so he used a lot of his time thinking about ball python genetics. How am I going to breed this to this? What will this create? So on and so forth. It was way out of my pay grade. I'm sure the passion part of it plays a little bit. I'm a smart person. I
Like,
could have
did
learned,
he
but
have any of this written out, or like was it just all upstairs and then he would just kind of do it?
he had notebooks of stuff. I never went through them. I don't know if he kept them or whatnot.
Right. I just wondered
yeah.
like where he kept all of his like, especially with the breeding, because I just didn't realize how much of a path he paved with that.
Yeah.
You know, with the breeding of ball pythons.
You know how you look at my notebooks of like if I'm doing stuff and
was
it's
his
like
that?
Yeah.
So there's no putting any pieces together if you look at it.
Yeah,
only he would know.
Only he would
Yeah.
know.
Okay, I got that. That makes sense
Yeah.
then. That's funny. So that's where you get it from.
Yeah. Then also just like he was just so smart. I miss talking to him so much because it's just like we used to talk about everything and just he was kind of plagued with his mind. It wasn't a relaxing mind for sure, and it definitely took a toll on his mental health. But he's a very smart guy. If you have any other questions, those are just 9 questions that came about, and drop them down in the comments. I love to answer some of your questions, and I heard that you guys liked the last episode too, so I'm going to be thinking about some more memories that I can tell stories on.
Do you find it healing to tell these stories?
Yeah, I want to remember stuff,
I saw somebody comment, and it was just like an interesting perspective on like, you're sharing these memories, but it's also kind of like you're like creating this time capsule where like you'll be able to go back and remember, and then even further, like Cameron will be able to be like, if this is like, a few episodes or series that you do, it's like Cameron one day will be able to be like what was my dad's perspective on my pop, or whatever. So
that was one reason why I did it, was I just like so much stuff can get lost in the just whatever of life.
Yeah.
I'm just getting it out there. I know that's people would like to hear stories and stuff, so the best of both worlds. So anyways, that's all for today's episode. Drop some comments down below. Let me know if you like it and if you have some questions for future episodes. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Did you see yourself? You said.
Yeah.